quick match reaction then to the cup game yesterday. Everton 4, Preston North End 0. A very convincing victory for Everton's first appearance in this year's Football League Cup. Again, pretty much like Crystal Palace, the second game that went almost perfectly, went almost according to plan. I said the ideal scenario would be Everton will be up 2-0 by the 65th minute, and that exactly how it turned out. Actually turned out even better, because just around that time Everton were already up 3-0 and shortly after 4-0. So a very convincing victory. I think Evertonians have to be extremely happy how this team has started the season. We're looking bright. We look like we can attack. We look like we're more than able to score goals, while also having a very good balance to the team. And many of our attacking players have already been involved, have some goal contributions. This team feels already different and slightly better than what we had last year. There's not even that too much to talk about from this game. Everton fielded a relatively strong lineup, slightly stronger than I expected, but I was nevertheless happy with the lineup. So we kept Pickford in goal, and Moyes rotated in Michael Keane for Branthwaite. No surprises with the substitution of Branthwaite, of course. We all expected that. But what many of us probably expected is that O'Brien would be rotated in instead of Michael Keane. So that was, prior to the game, my slight worry, the centre-back partnership, Keane and Tarkowski. Then on the right, he played Röhl again, which I also predicted, because he's by far our best right back now in the current squad. So I still think we should get a proper right back in, but Merlin, that's his position for now. And then midfield was largely unchanged. Only James Garner came in for Hayden Hackney, but I think that change is fine. That is kind of a like-for-like substitution, and based on last season, of course, Garner was our best player. So Garner came in for Hackney, like-for-like change almost. Armstrong continued to be in the starting lineup, and Dewsbury Hall. And on the wings, we had Dibbling on the right, Njai on the left, and Barry up front. So pretty strong starting lineup. And then how the game play out, I think it turned out as I hoped and expected. Everton were largely the dominant side, much more on the ball. I think we had nearly 69% possession there. Compare that to seasons prior. When did Everton ever have 69% possession? That also shows you the level of footballing capacity we have now. And then we didn't create too many chances in the first 20-30 minutes or so, but then we got the opener through Barry. Very nice move, wonderful ball over the top from Dewsbury Hall to an overlapping Mykolenko, which is very encouraging to see. He lays the ball across and Barry's there for a tap-in. So let me mention at that point that we were all very doubtful about him, but the first two seasons of the season, Mykolenko hasn't put a foot wrong, to be honest. He's played well, and he reminded us, gives us minimal hope that there is a version of Mykolenko that can also be more attacking. That version of himself was largely absent for most of his Everton career, but there were rare instances where Mykolenko was more offensive player. Also, few times under Sean Dyche, we saw that Mykolenko, and he seems to have appeared now. So let's hope, because it's most likely that Mykolenko will be the left back for most of the season, that he continues to play like that. And if not, Asnu is waiting. He also come on and also looked pretty good. So that goal came, and then it was 1-0. Not assurance, but Everton looked pretty comfortable from then on. Preston didn't have too many chances, maybe pushing a little bit prior to the halftime, but I think Everton were largely in control. And second half was even better. Second half, Everton more dominant, and also with a more cutting edge in the final third. So the second goal came from nice play between Njai and Dewsbury Hall. Njai from the edge of the box plays a little dink through ball to Dewsbury Hall, who has a shot at goal. Too strong for the keeper to keep a hold of it, and Barry is there again to slot in the rebound. Might say looks a little bit fortunate, but I think that was a wonderful striker's goal. Anticipating how the move will unfold, be there at the right spot, have the have his feet sorted out well enough to guide it into the goal. Good goal from Barry there. And then minutes later, we made the first substitutions. Johnson came on for Dibbling, and George, I think, came on. George came on for maybe James Garner. And then minutes later, there's another move, another wonderful through ball from Dewsbury Hall, who has quietly had a fantastic game. Doesn't appear on the score sheet, but he had like the pre-assist for two other goals. So he had his shot was parried for the second goal, and had the pre-assist for the first and the third goal. Through ball to a sprinting Brandon Johnson, exactly showing what we brought him in for. So Johnson is super fast in behind. Defenders have no chance to catch up with him. He plays a simple a diagonal pass, and Barry taps it in for his third. So we actually had the first and the third goal are very typical goals that the coach must be happy about. Executed moves that you work on the training pitch, moves that we've seen so many other teams score week in week out, but Everton rarely scored such goals in the past. But very lovely to see deep ball, players in behind, take the right decision, the sensible decision, and let the attack in the best position slot it home. 3-0 there. Barry has his hat trick. Wonderful to see. Last time an Everton player had a hat trick, I believe, was 2020 or 21. So really nice. Tiano Barry, absolutely on fire right now. 4 goals out of his first 2. Keep it going. And he looks so happy right now, doesn't he? Radiant smile up there. Looks like he's enjoying his time a lot. And then Barry, speaking of Barry, he was also involved with an assist, because minutes later, Barry shows again that he's worked on his footballing side as well, or just he plays with more confidence. Um, Played almost was in a position with behind the number 9, like in the middle of the pitch. Good turn, and then he plays a lovely through ball to again Brandon Johnson, again who uh, waited at the edge of the back four from Preston. He's in, slots it home through the legs of the keeper, 4-0. What a cameo Johnson had. Was on the pitch at that point for less than 10 minutes and had an assist and a goal. Exactly probably what Moyes would have hoped and what we brought him in for, showing exactly what he can do. We have to play to his strength, and yeah, Everton did that to perfection there. I think especially in games where Everton will have counter transition moments, when we're ahead or maybe away from home, Johnson can be a real weapon there. So, and at that point, the game was more or less done and dusted. Tyreek, George had some nice moments after that. Could have had a fifth. Harrison Armstrong had a shot. Could have had another goal, maybe. But nah, nothing to worry about. Everton in cruise control. Game done and dusted. No injuries. Convincing victory. Everything happened exactly as you wanted. Maybe a small asterisk was what we have to say. Preston did not field their best team. Like, I made my preview, and I think there are 3 players I said we have to look out for. They were all on the bench, and they came on when the game was at 2-0 and was pretty much away from Preston at that point. So, but again, it's not our fault. We played the team in front of us, and we had to beat this Preston side convincingly, and we did it. Yeah. And 4-0 at a championship side in the Carabao Cup is actually an impressive result. Yes, of course you expect Everton to win, but 4-0, that's a very convincing scoreline. So overall, very happy with that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Not much to debate otherwise. Maybe the only interesting talking point here worth discussing is the fact that neither Beto nor O'Brien came on the pitch. And those two were heavily rumored this week with moves away from Everton. And I think this lack of substituting them in, that is a clear indicator that something must be going on behind the scenes. That probably Moyes was told not to play them if he doesn't need to, because these players might be seeking the move away from Everton. So that will be interesting to look out for the rest of the week. Oh, and one last point that I want to mention, I forgot, is, in my opinion, if there's one player I want to shout out once again, it's again Harrison Armstrong. One of my favorite players right now, probably him and Merlin Röhl, the big winners from preseason. Harrison Armstrong himself is the personified difference from this Everton side to the Everton team from last year. Harrison Armstrong is the reason Everton have so much composure on the ball. He's the man in the middle that marks the difference. We have now, instead of Idrissa Gana Gay, Harrison Armstrong is playing for this Everton side. And my God, the balance of this team looks so much better. And he is the main reason. Harrison Armstrong, so far, Everton's key difference maker in this season. Even though, yeah, he doesn't get the biggest headlines, but he doesn't score the goals. But my God, this boy has risen to fame in very quickly now. And I think Evertonians can even do a little bit more to give him praise. Like, this is a guy that came through the Everton Academy. He's one of the true scousers, someone that comes from the Everton Academy, and he's playing like that. I think we have to sing his praises as much as we can. Maybe, of course, we don't want to turn his head. We don't want him to feel like, I don't know, he's too big for the club soon or anything like that. We don't have to big him up more than necessary. But my God, we should be proud to have such a player in our ranks. It's so lovely to see Harrison Armstrong do so well for Everton. And I said he is the difference maker. He is the personified reason why Everton are playing with such better balance and feel so much comfortable, more comfortable on the ball, why we are playing so much lovely attacking football. So, very easy lesson. I know there will still be some people who think, oh, if Christian Norgard comes back, then that team will be complete. But based on what we've seen so far, you cannot take out Harrison Armstrong from this side. If you put in Norgard now into this team, I think it have a negative effect. If you put in Norgard, yeah, you may swap him in for Hackney or Ghana, but not for Harrison Armstrong. Either Harrison Armstrong or Hayden Hackney, in my opinion, has to play. And in my view, Harrison Armstrong is the player that stands out. Him and Dewsbury Hall, to me, have been the two most impressive midfielders from the preseason games and the first two games. So Harrison Armstrong has to play. He has to be a mainstay for Everton. So lovely to see. And then, yeah, now it's already Thursday. I will do my match preview for Bournemouth tomorrow. And small disclaimer, this Saturday, unfortunately, I cannot watch the match between Everton and Bournemouth, but I will follow on the live ticker. I will try to. I have my phone. I will try to watch while I'm away from home. But yeah, I unfortunately won't be able to see the full match there. But I still do my preview and my review based on the information I can get. And then, of course, I think is 1 week left on the transfer market. Will be very interesting to see what Everton do, because I think we have now such a good blueprint. We have a solid foundation for the season. We already seen what this team can do. It will be a shame if we now fail to make some few more transfers to really build a even better core to this Everton side. I think, please, we need to bring in a right back. And if we transfer out O'Brien and Beto, we need like-for-like replacements. That is an absolute must. And then everything else will be a bonus. Yeah, maybe if we loan out Arsenal, maybe another left back. Maybe, regardless of what happens, maybe another striker. I don't know. But I want to see some more activity on the transfer market. I think at least 2 or 3 more players. That would be what I wish for. I already trust this team. But if we have players going out, they need to be replaced. And of course the center back. Yeah, especially if O'Brien leaves. But even if he doesn't, maybe another versatile defender, someone that can play, ideally center back and left back. I think that would strengthen the squad immensely. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. Adios.